which is called, in Hebrew, is defined as okelah. And it means food, consume, devour, eat, food, meat. Okay? It also leads you to another one, which is 401, Yukah. Yukah, which means to devour. A fancy name. Devour. Which also leads you to another one, H398, which is Orcah. Orcah. Now, I want to read the definitions from both the Eastward and the Strong's Concordance so we can get the best understanding of each one. According to the book, okay, the Eastward book, the Strong's Concordance book, Orcah for Hebrew means to eat, consume. Okay? Then it goes into a lot of other definitions and like examples. But I'm going to read it all the way down to, for those that have the Strong's Concordance, go down to number 4, where it starts off, this verse is often. I'm going to read it from the book, okay? This verse is often used figuratively, with overtones of destroying something or someone. 4a. So the sword, fire, and forest are said to consume men. 4b. The things consumed may include such various things as lands. Genesis 3:17, fields. Isaiah 1:17, offerings. Deuteronomy 18:1. And a bride's purchase price. Okay? As you see, it doesn't offer too much information for the definition, but it gets into eat and consume. It mentions sword and fire. Okay? Now I want to read the definition from the Eastward for meat. For 398. Burn up, consume, devour, feed, food, ex freely, ex wise, lay, meat. So basically, what I'm getting out of this is I have the Most High said that the herbs were for meat. And for what I go into the Hebrew of what meat are and what it means and how we to use the herb is to be eaten or burn up and consumed. Now, we understand eating. That shouldn't be a problem. But you have to understand burn up, consume. Burn up, consume for a herb, marijuana, would mean ashes. So we wouldn't even burn up meat and eat it. I don't even know people who burn up meat and eat it. So you have to ask yourself, how is that to be used? Like, how is that really to be done? And we know through the course of history of time that the Indians, they smoked it. They are our people. You know, the tribe of Gad. You know, Reuben. We know about the Benjamins, which is we know through the course of life they smoked it, as well as some have probably ate it. And the Most High haven't really put scriptures to say that was a sin against him. So you have to understand why. Well, let's get into that a little more. The meat, as well as it to be eaten, can be burned up and consumed. Well, for herb, you couldn't burn up and consume it because it would become ashes. So you would have to understand, how would you consume something that you burn up? which the only logical way would be to smoke it. So what I did was I took my research further and went into the meat section of scriptures. Okay? I'm not going to do a full research on this because it's a lot of more scriptures that you want to add to it that can give you understanding. But before I go to the meat section, I am going to give you this. Let's go to Psalms chapter 104 verse 14. He causeth the grass to grow from the cattle, and the herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. Notice he said the herb for the service of man, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengthens man's heart. If I don't know if he talking about the black man, I don't know who he is. We need that oil, you know that. But I just wanted to point out the issue of how the Most High put the herb in the same sentence with the wine to make the heart glad. So that's like describing the buzz. Okay, that's how I see it. Okay, because that's what the combination of the two do. Gives you a nice mellow buzz. So we know the Most High know all things. So, before we get into going further, I wanted to take my research further and go into the meat section, so we can really get an understanding of burn up, consume. Because many of you would say, man, burn up, consume just means to cook it. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know nobody who burn up meat and eat it. So, to me, that definitely couldn't mean cook it. Okay, so let's go to the meat session and find out exactly what burn up, consume mean. With that being said, I want you to turn your books to Leviticus chapter 2. We're going to read this from verse 1 all the way down to verse 11. And we're going to cover what burn means. And when any shall offer a meat offering unto the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons the priests, and he shall take there out his handful of flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, and all the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar to be an offering made by fire of a sweet Savior unto the Lord. And the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, and it is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. So meat is the most holy of an offering made by fire. Keep that in your mind. And if thou bring an oblation of a meat offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. And if thy oblation be a meat offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour of unleavened mingled with oil. Thou shalt part it in pieces and pour oil thereon. It is a meat offering. And if thy oblation be a meat offering baked in the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And if thou